Hello and welcome back to another video where we will be talking about pornography addiction recovery. So a question I see asked quite a lot is how long does it take to rewire your brain from a porn addiction? So I do know quite a bit of the neuroscience on this through studying your brain on porn. So I could talk about delta FOSB and transcription factors and CREB and all of that and how long it takes to rewire the brain from that neuroscientific perspective. But actually, from my understanding now and just my own experience, I've kind of taken a different approach to this whole problem when it comes to how long does it take. Because in the past, I used to think, yeah, 3 months, that's going to rewire the brain. It's going to be enough time for the delta FOSB to sort of get out of the system, and you're going to actually change how you act after 3 months of sobriety. That used to be my approach. Now, I did 3 months, probably 4 times at least. I've done 60 days probably about 10 times. Done loads of streaks, and felt good for a while, high confidence, feeling energetic, more full of life, and more just going after what I want in life. And, I've done these streaks and it's been good. But then the truth is, if I'm honest with myself, and I always will be, is I've always gone back and looked at porn. Even after 90 days, even after 150 days, I went back and looked at porn. So has my brain actually rewired from porn if I'm going back and looking at porn after 90 days? In my opinion, no. In my opinion, absolutely not, because I'm still in the addiction if I'm continuing to engage in this compulsive behaviour that I don't want to engage with. So the reality is, you actually have to change how you think in a really fundamental way. You have to change the thoughts properly. So it's a little bit like CBT or NLP, but in our method, we use something called rational emotive therapy. Essentially what it is it's about changing the thoughts, so you change the feelings, and then that changes the actions. And if you change all of your thoughts in the correct ways, then you will gain permanent mental freedom from porn addiction, because you will get to a point where you don't even want to look at porn anymore, because you realize so fundamentally to your core that you have an option, you have a choice. You can look at porn, you can choose not to look at porn. And one option leads to this path of self-destruction and frustration and upset and turmoil and so many horrible consequences. And the other path leads to freedom, happiness, joy, confidence, self-respect, and all these amazing benefits. So you want to get to a point in your mind where you think it through and you can just realize, yeah, if I look at porn, I'm not going to feel good. If I choose to willingly accept the temporary discomfort, I'm going to feel good. And it should become so simple in your mind that you don't need to try and run away from the urges and distract yourself and go on one of these nofap streaks. It should become so clear that you are free for the rest of your life, because it becomes as simple in your mind as, okay, if I put a knife in an electric socket, I'm going to get electrocuted. That's how simple it can become in your mind. But it does take a bit of time. But more than time, what I believe it takes is thinking it through repeatedly. If you think this through, you go through the desire and you actually think through the consequences and how you're going to feel. If you do that on repeat, just over and over and over, and you really go through the withdrawal process properly without substituting it out for like video games or chocolate or going and having sex with a load of girls from Tinder or anything that you can think of. If you actually go through the withdrawal and you go through the desire and you think it through time and time again and you willingly accept the temporary discomfort, that is what actually changes the brain, because it changes the thoughts. This is really important, because a lot of people out here, and myself included in the past, are trying to go on these nofap streaks. They're trying to run away from the addiction, and they are measuring their success by the number of days they've gone without porn. But if you're then going to go back to porn because you've not actually changed how you think about the whole situation, then what progress have you really made? You've just had a few months of feeling confident, and then you're right back in the addiction, going around in circles, and this can last a lifetime. This is the scary thing for me, is that I'm 25, and I was talking to Mary about this the other day, my mentor and coach, Mary Paulus, who's worked in addiction recovery since 1990. And we were talking through looking at porn and the idea of doing that. And she said to me something really valuable. She said, yeah, you can do that, but do you really want like another 10 years of going around in circles, doing your little nofap streaks? Do I really want that? And the answer, of course, is no. I don't want that life. No, I don't. I've lived that for the last 10 years. I don't want another decade of it. So that's not going to be something I do. I'm not going to indulge in even the fantasy of looking at porn, because I know that the only real benefit from looking at porn is stopping the discomfort of withdrawal temporarily, because my mind is engaged with an emotional dependency on a psychological mind mood altering experience. That's all it is. There's nothing really to be gained from porn. That is the truth. And I do have the choice to look at it if I want to, but then that's just another 10 years of going round and round. And that might sound extreme, like if you look once, it's going to be another 10 years. But I think if you don't really deeply understand that, yeah, if I look again, then I am going to be back in the addiction indefinitely, then you're just going to go around in circles, because the part of your mind that's addicted is going to say to you, nah, you're fine, you can look once. But if you can look once now, when are you not going to be able to look once again in the future? If that's the level of your thinking, is that, yeah, it's okay to look at porn just once, because then I'll stop and then I'll be back in control. Well, if that's your thinking right now, when is that thinking ever going to change? When are you ever going to be free? I hope this makes sense. I know it can be a little bit complicated, and I've touched on quite a few things that are quite in-depth in terms of the Beyond Compulsion method today, but hopefully this helps you realise that, yeah, you do want to stop this, and you can actually rewire your brain a lot quicker than the 90 days if you do it correctly. If you go through the withdrawal process, you actually think it through repeatedly, you change your thoughts, you get out of deprivation thinking, you can actually rewire your brain quickly. You know, it's not something that has to take months. And also, once it's done, it's done. This is so significant, because people out there are talking about, you know, being a porn addict for the rest of your life. That fundamentally conflicts with neuroplasticity. It's just wrong. It's as simple as that. You don't have to be addicted to porn for the rest of your life. Being addicted to porn isn't who you are either. It has very little to do with your identity and everything to do with addicted neural pathways. So rewire your brain. You can get free from this for good, but you do need to change how you think about the situation. That will change how you feel, and that will change how you act. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you want to book in a call with me and talk through the Beyond Compulsion method and how you're doing right now and where you want to go in more detail, then use the link in the description below. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.